Ladies and gentlemen, nerds and geeks, back at it again. It is the legendary Friday nights of the Nerdle Roundtable. Yours truly, King Nerdificent Twala Sharp in the building. I see Ryan Twitch Master McBain. What it do?
Like we always do about this time.
What's up, y'all?
Anthony from Two Cubicles Down.
Hello, everybody.
Dr. Liz from the Freeway.
Hi, everyone.
Mo Kelly.
Don't shit where you eat.
Oh, God.
Okay, all right.
Professional
Tom
advice.
is talking cutting
Especially
edge.
if it's millions.
What's up? What is up this week? Outside of just all the craziness happening in the news, of course, we've got She-Hulk. We had a triple premiere of Andor. Lot more shit going on. What do y'all want to
Cobra
start with?
Kai.
You want to start in a galaxy far, far away, or you want to start more local in Los Angeles area with She-Hulk?
Or Cobra
I mean,
Kai.
you might as well start with Andor because that's going to be
Let's get it out
54
the way.
minutes of the show.
All right, okay, all right, okay. I mean, to me, there's no fight with Andor. You know, if you went into it looking for more of a galaxy that you've never seen before, you want to see a little bit more into what established the resentment for the Empire. If you want to see how those pockets across the galaxy were forming, then this is what this is. If you want to see what led to the events of Rogue One, well, this is it. And for me, it is a very serious show from the very first episode that let you know this is not lightsabers and the Force. This is that we're taking you to the hood in Star Wars. We're taking you to the intergalactic strip club. We are taking you to the ghetto. We are showing you that shit was rough and that the Empire, on one hand, was looked at as this benevolent, police force bringing law and order to the galaxy. We always heard about that, and we saw how overzealous these individuals were and how they wanted to go into different territories and lay down the law. And we also saw how the people were really struggling, tearing down ships. We saw new worlds and new planets, and we saw a little more backstory to the dude who, would bring this crew together to take down the Death Star. Did I love it? Yeah, I thought it was good. It was good Star Wars shit.
Okay,
what
wait.
else do you want?
Wait, okay, so let me just say I did not get through an entire episode for the express reason that I was confused that Andor was actually Endor, and I was trying to figure out how there were so many people on the Ewok planet. So I'm gonna let Mo screech and Ryan bellow and Tawala say, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Because I ain't got no much to say except for the one thing, which is this was the first time I have been in the Star Wars universe where I saw exposed brick like they were in a Brooklyn warehouse, and it threw me out. The one scene I saw was with Stellan Skarsgård and the guy, the main Andor guy. Yeah, Diego Luna, who not my favorite actor, but when I saw the brick, I was like, why are there bricks and chains? Is this like Andor meets Saw? I didn't understand it. So that's all I had to say about that. So y'all go on ahead now.
Look, I'm going to be very honest. I was the one who was actually probably the most excited to see it. I was the one who was asking, "Hey guys, you're going to stay up late on Wednesday night?"
sure did.
Okay,
Yeah, you did. You
By
did.
yourself.
So I went in expecting to enjoy it. What I did encounter were 3 episodes of a show which should have been condensed into one. They dragged this one incident, and Ryan knows what I'm talking about, across 3 episodes, which was rather insignificant, to somehow ascribe importance to Cassian Andor, which really didn't exist. I did not care. Visually, it was beautiful. They spent some money on this, but the story was lacking. They didn't have enough story to tell, and I didn't care. And I know he dies in 5 years, so I don't give a fuck.
It did take 3 episodes to get off
Well, I know in some circles that might be considered impressive.
It's not. But I'm just saying,
Most
it's to get off
impressive.
the world. But I'm just saying, it took 3 episodes, so that's what, and 3 episodes of 45-minute episode. First of all, 45-minute episodes, and then like
No, you
9 minutes in credit.
I think
Like
the
9
second one was
minutes.
only like 30, 35 minutes.
Yeah, but it still had like a big chunk of that was the credits.
That's
Yeah, they
all.
take-
That's all Disney
Yeah,
shows.
they took
Yeah,
a book
that's
out
just what
of
they do.
She-Hulk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got 12 different damn languages of cast that you got to cover for the
They're trying to
entire
make sure
planet.
everyone gets their credit. They're tired of people saying, "I'm
Everybody.
getting my due." You know,
Everybody get it.
the dude who screwed in the light bulb, you're getting credit. McBain, what was your hate for this episode?
You know, it's not hate, Swalla. It's more I'm just at peace. You know, I didn't really need this backstory of this character. I barely cared about him in Rogue One, and I really scratched my
He
head
was forgettable.
while I was watching these 3 episodes, going like, who sat down at Disney and goes, you know what people want? They want a backstory with this character Andor. That's what people want. We already know the Empire is dirty. We already know that people hate the Empire. You saw that all that in Rogue One. So you're going back, and Disney's just stuck in this time period, and they just can't get out. I would prefer they do something way back in the past or way into the future. But they took 3 episodes to tell a story, to Mo's point, that could have been solved in 1 episode. And it's dragged on. I don't care about the characters whatsoever. The visuals are great. The story sucks ass. There's only 1 character I cared about. 1. And that was that fucking red droid. That's the only thing I fucking cared about. Okay? And
He
it's
was
getting out of
cute.
hand,
He
Disney.
was cute.
Disney, get your shit together. Because at this point, since you're stuck in this time period, I'm expecting them to do, you know what? I'm expecting them to say, let's do a TV show or movie in between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, and it's about Han Solo having hallucinations while he's encased in carbonite. Get your shit together.
I think I'd actually watch that.
No, they
Visions
did
while
they did the
encased.
book. They did the book between 6 and 7 of Han and Leia's honeymoon on the ship, and that's what they made the hotel out of in Orlando.
Ah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true.
So there
Very
you go.
true.
There's your bullshit story, Ryan. The
There you
honeymoon.
go, Ryan.
honeymoon.
It'll happen.
That's great.
Ryan, Anthony
Can't
has
wait.
just brought it to light. And let's see. And Liz, you know, you did
Yeah,
enjoy that
okay.
it didn't get
No,
off.
I don't. No, I didn't say I didn't enjoy it. I'm indifferent.
she don't
Yeah,
care.
well, you've been indifferent to Star Wars. Period. You've
am.
been a long believer that's
I
like I'm gonna get the
Googled-
hype. Yeah.
I don't. And I Googled
I
to try to
Googled.
figure out what the planet was and was I supposed to be significant? Did it matter? And discovered, nope, first time mentioning it. So I was like, okay, cool. Then I was like, let me Google the dude, make sure that if it was something that was mattered and he was significant. And I was like, oh yeah, that was that little dude in Rogue One. Oh, okay. And then I
Can I
saw
and
Can I interject one thing?
sure.
To get into the episode, the premise was Andor kills these 2 Imperial adjacent guards
Yes.
Yep.
for no
Adjacent, yeah,
discernible
it's not
reason
even
other than they're
Imperial
trying to
related.
stick him up.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And for some reason, these Imperial guards adjacent managed to put out an APB over the whole system, and they managed to find Cassian Andor, one person of really hidden identity, talking about Canary, and they managed to find him on this planet right next door to where the murder happened.
Well, the 2 guards did not get to put out an APB. They went to go find him. Remember, as they said, these were 2 officers
No,
who were
hold on.
moonlighting, who are not even moonlighting. They were hanging out in a strip club, spending money that they did not have, behaving in manners that were below the standard of the Empire. It was this one asshole cop who said, you know what, I'm not going to let it go, even though
Who's a
he was
pussy.
told to let it go.
Okay, but
He
let's,
was told
let's
to let
be
it go.
frank.
So he's Javert.
And
It's
but
basically
he
he's
just went
Javert.
on a whole tirade. He was
Yeah, but let's be
flaunting his
frank.
power. He's walking on bases, commanding shit he had no business commanding. That's why it was
Okay,
only important
yeah.
to him.
Yeah, but the only reason why we even knew that they knew that he existed here is because the chick
Boyfriend was
was
jealous.
was
Yes.
had a boyfriend who was jealous because he had sex only once a week.
Yeah,
And
true.
Oh, he
So,
he was
so,
a hater.
so
got mad
basically,
about.
basically,
And he
what we're
dined
saying
them out.
is that this show is really about the Ime Udoka scandal.
pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Means that you should have sex
You know,
with
I don't know. I mean,
was waiting for
there-
that.
Okay,
there-
so
there
I-
also seems to be a
at
lot of
least twice a
poverty
week.
on this planet, so it could be about Brett Favre stealing,
Oh,
money.
Oh, wow.
That's
Wow.
right.
Okay.
I buy that. Hashtag Welfarve Queen. I will say that to Ryan's point, I would be much happier, just like I was with the revelatory exercise that was the Watchmen television series. I'd much rather have a series set in the Star Wars universe that isn't tied to anything. I'd be perfectly happy to see some old Republic Jedi, or see some story that doesn't lead us in any way to James Earl Jones, who has turned over his voice rights to Lucasfilm and the Respeecher people. I just want to hear, huh?
You think this is because Mufasa's coming out? He's like,
Well, I mean, it's the
I
same
can do
basic
can't-
corporate family.
both. Yeah, I know, but
I
I
don't
can't
know.
do two things. I can only do one. I'm pushing.
No,
The guy's like
he's
90
not
years
a-
old.
He's
Right.
retiring.
Retired.
No, he's
I
I know, but
gonna.
I'm saying you pushing 2 feet from the grave. I can only do one at a time.
I don't think he's. I don't know. I can't say. All I will say is that if we are going to plumb the depths, because I know one of the things that when I was a kid and more infatuated with Star Wars than I am now, the idea of Mara Jade and Thrawn and all of that I thought was cool. Not because it was Luke and Leia and Han and the kids and all that stuff, but just because it moved beyond. There was no Darth Vader. You weren't trying to rehash all of that stuff. Darth was dead, and we were just going on in this space where these other characters existed. And so now that that's out of the way, and that's impossible to do, at least with the original characters, now you've gone back and now you've recast Solo, you've recast Lando Calrissian, and now you've got the thickest accent in the Star Wars universe, and you're building a series around him. I just don't get it. I don't care. I'd much rather see, some Ewan McGregory type people in Ewan McGregory type robes doing shit I haven't seen before and running around and not even related to the emergence of the Empire. Just do some Jedi shit. Like, be the equalizer in fucking the Star Wars universe. Do something that's just like basically the Mandalorian, except not trying to, pull the other mythology.
Yes. Do something in the golden age of the Jedi, or something hundreds of years into the future.
In the future, like they did with Star Trek Discovery. Figure it out, but don't. You think you're doing fan service, and don't nobody care.
I don't know if they're going for fan service. I think that this
They're
series
scraping the
is
bottom of the
more
barrel. That's what they're
focused
doing.
on trying to tell a story about the war. They're trying to tell a story about some of the underlying things that were happening and give us a look far away from the universe that we're used to. Yes, this does
Niche.
lead to
Far
the
away.
Death Star, but I'm just saying, like
They've
right
already
now
told
we're
that story.
nowhere close
They have.
to the Death Star.
They've already
nowhere
told that
close to it.
story.
Except that,
Yeah.
as
I
much
mean,
as
we
people
got-
like
again,
Rogue
we got
One,
to
that
the
story
end of
didn't
it.
make any damn sense either.
I mean, we got to the end of where this goes to Mo's point of always hating, prequels and things where you already know what's going to happen. Yeah, there is that, but I don't know. We shall see. I mean, this is still 3 episodes in, and we don't know the full story of where this is going, how this ties in. What's the name's character? Forrest Whitaker's character, like if we're going to go further into how they were trying to employ bounty hunters to sabotage the Empire. I don't know.
I have a question.
I'm not
Empire
mad
look
enough to be
shabby?
like, I'm out. So I don't
Was
know.
that Liz?
Why does the Empire's outfits look shabbier than they did before? Like,
We haven't
Because they're
seen the
Empire
in
adjacent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're not
Empire.
stormtroopers. They're not.
No.
no,
part of that
I'm
clique.
not saying Star Troopers, but I mean like the outfits look better. Like
They're
when
not-
they were not in the Stormtroopers.
Well, they're not actually a part of the Empire. They're like
Right.
just working for the
A
Empire.
private
Yeah.
so
Right.
they get
Contractors.
cheap
They're
outfits.
security. They're
You see
Yeah,
the
they're
planet they live
fighters.
on?
I'm just asking.
I know. I'm just saying.
It looks like some felt sewn together, kind of outfits that they just barely got together.
Okay, just think about it this way. These are the MAGA guys. They're not quite Nazis yet.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
a good point.
Yeah.
This is homespun. This is crafty Empire.
What really
This is
annoyed me,
Crimpire.
what really annoyed me is that character that looks like Dale Cooper from Twin Peaks that just couldn't let shit go.
Couldn't let
Dude,
go.
like, just couldn't let it go. And then after he fucked around and found out, dude got shell shocked. That was funny. But other than that, I was like, dude, like
I thought it was funny that the dude who's the one who dimed the dude out dead.
Got killed.
I was like,
I was glad he got killed.
Message.
He got what was coming to
I
him.
mean,
He was
I
a
guess
real
now
hater.
maybe
He
I
got
don't
what
need
was
to maybe I don't need to watch it now that all the spoilers have been dropped. I know I'm on this show. I can't complain. I'm not that interested.
Here's one thing. If you don't have Jedi, you don't have Sith, you don't have any lightsabers, you don't have the Force, then it's more incumbent upon the story to carry you.
Right.
And there's not enough story to tell because they've already said this is 5 years before BBY, the Battle of Yavin, and yeah, they have flashbacks to when he was a kid, but no one gives a shit about that. So we only have really 5 years to, actually about 4 years to work with, because the end of Rogue One is maybe a few months before the Battle of Yavin.
It's like right at
They're
5 years
leaving
before.
in Rogue One. They're like taking
like 2
off
days
to go
later.
to the
Rogue
battle.
One is like ends right where
Okay,
the
that's right.
starts.
That's right.
Yeah, that right at the beginning of New Hope.
There's
You know
not
what's so funny? You know
not
what's so
too much to
funny to
tell.
me is that Star Wars keeps making these shows with no star, with no lightsabers, and that's the biggest draw for kids and for adults. Like they spend
The wong
so much money on lightsabers. You can get a customized lightsaber going to Disneyland, I'm sure at Disney World, and you keep making these movies with none of them.
All I know is that if this is 5 years before BBY, how many years is it before BBL? That's the real question that everybody in the Star
Or
Wars
BBB.
universe wants to know. I mean, I'm just.
No, sir. I'm out for you, sir. I'm out for you, sir.
Speaking of which, Anthony, your comments actually, I'm actually curious about that.
Like,
Those aren't bus tracks on your back, Anthony, just by the way.
No. So like the I didn't like the fact that it's only 5 years. Like we're supposed to watch the rise of this rebellion, and it's going to take place in the span of basically between now and 5 years. There's no cohesion at all. They're going to round everybody up, establish a fleet, get fighters, freedom fighters, pilots, get the whole logistics and infrastructure you need to amass a force in the span of 5 years across an entire galaxy.
Yeah. Anthony, you're misremembering how Star Wars worked. You're misremembering how all of these things were happening all around the same time. Like it's not just within this 5 years.
The rebellion was going on
I
a
get
lot
there's
longer
pockets
before.
of them.
All over the place.
I know there's pockets. I know it's been going on before, but there's no cohesion yet. They have not rallied around any type of center point to come together and then fight the Empire.
But if you think about it, even while this is happening, there was an entire other series that's out there where it involved the Ghost Crew, who was working on a whole nother mission that involved the rebellion coming together. By the time Rogue One happens, this is just one mission to help them get the plans for this base. That's all Rogue One led to. It was happening while they were fighting for the rebellion to happen. When Rogue One was happening, there was all types of infighting. No one was really down with the rebellion in Rogue One. 5 years later, it did not come together. All this is telling you is how this dude, Cassian Andor, rose in the ranks and became an assassin and a spy within the rebellion. That's all Cassian Andor was. You are misremembering how it all came together.
That's not enough.
This is not that story.
Look, well,
so I'm saying, like, I just want you to be clear going into it. Like this goes into one story, Rogue One.
Oh no, I'm clear on that one. But I find it very hard for this conglomerate of pockets of cells to come together for this cohesion force of rebellion, but they don't even have paved roads.
Look,
they're still walking on dirt.
This is
how they
better
gonna come
than
together
on this planet. Remember, this is also happening at the same time that whatchamacallit are retired and trying to come back together. The damn stormtroopers. What the fuck are their names?
Are you talking about Cody?
Bad Batch?
Cody or the
Bad Batch all of these things were happening. Star Wars. There was a series based on a bunch of fighter pilots that were coming together. There's so many series that are all these things happening together to bring the rebellion
Wow.
together, to bring it to a head. By the time we get to and remember, this is still before we get Luke and all them in the Jedi to say, hey, or Luke to before he became the Empire Strikes Back and all that shit. Nothing came together on any significant time. Fuck, Han Solo in the span of being freed from carbonite to Return of the Jedi, this fucker became a general or whatever. It's like a lot of shit happens in weird ways.
Well,
Anyway,
A lot of
Rocky,
shit
I-
happens in weird ways.
it's easy to get promoted when people are dying. So
Easy,
I mean,
easy. Motherfuckers,
Yeah.
entire ships were blowing up. What are we talking about?
Rocky says the rebellion missions are run like Tyler Perry movies.
Hey,
Oh, wow.
lie. Hey, no
Damn.
lie.
Damn.
No lie.
Damn.
That's a fact, Rocky. That is a fact.
Stay on
Rebellion
target.
came together
Yes.
with
Yeah.
shoestrings and
Yeah.
all that.
Stay on target.
Bunch of
Look
they
it up.
didn't even have a whole fleet of X-wings to go and attack the damn thing in the beginning. They had to have a bunch of mismatched ships. Shit wasn't
Oh.
put together
They
fresh.
showed one Y-wing. They showed one
One.
in a junk.
Come on.
And that's because Medea had just gotten it back from the shop
Impound.
before they went
I
on
always
the
had my rim shot.
Hallelujah.
But you know,
I said I needed this Y-wing so we could attack the Empire, and y'all fucking up my plans. I'm gonna go get my pistol.
and look, Tyler Perry can have a whole season of a show, and they still in the same clothes. It went from morning to
Oh
to
yeah.
night.
Yeah, that
In
ain't no
15
wardrobe budget.
episodes.
Yeah, look. I mean, look. That's just
There you go.
what it will be. The next time we get, I think, anywhere close to something moving us back would be what Star Wars, Acolyte or
The Tales of the
Uh,
Jedi.
Tales of the Jedi
'Cause
takes
with
us
the-
back,
with
in an
Dooku's-
animated sense.
Yeah, with Dooku's story, it takes us before the before anything when he still
Yeah.
had Qui-Gon as his Padawan.
Mm.
There has to be something else going on.
I mean,
apparently not. 'Cause like I said,
there's a lot of different
bottom
stories
of
coming.
the barrel.
Oh Jesus! All right. Or I mean,
Right,
look, Ryan.
Bottom
Yeah.
of
you
the
are a-
barrel.
You are a
Characters.
notorious Star Wars hater.
Oh, you know what? I got just add one more thing. And
Okay.
this should have portended how poorly this series was going to
Oh
perform.
shit.
Oh, Patty Jenkins.
If, no. If you go on Disney Plus, they have this special first look at Andor,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't know what they're showing to you until you watch the first 3 episodes. Damn it! If they did not show that complete, unaltered action sequence from episode 3 in that first look of Andor,
Mm.
I should have just stopped right there because that showed us everything. They didn't have enough story to tell.
This is just the first 3 episodes.
Yeah. Dude, it dragged on one little stupid
Oh.
plot for 3 episodes.
And-
Let's keep it moving.
And this is 12 episodes long. Quite
Wait,
frankly, I
we don't
am
know what the box is.
Well,
To this
that's the
day, we
reason
don't know
why-
what the damn box is.
Who cares? They left.
Look at the box. What's in the box?
They
They
didn't
left
care
the
about the
box.
box. Dude did not want the box.
He was
He
about
was
to
on
die
the
for those
episode.
boxes.
Yeah,
He didn't want the
About the
box. He
box.
wanted Andor. That's what he wanted.
He wanted
Look,
Andor.
Look,
That's what he
we know
wanted. He
that.
was
They-
Andor wanted to sell the box. He
Yeah.
had a whole nother thing. I want to get off this damn poor ass planet. I got the cops on me. The heat is
They don't
on.
got
I've done
roads.
something
I guess
stupid.
he no longer cares
I
about his
fucked up.
sister.
All right. I
Right.
like
They're gonna sell the box to the Cenobites
yes.
for the new Clive Barker Hellraiser series on Hulu.
He'll find his
Um,
sister in a different spin-off series since fucking Disney can't get out of this fucking time period.
No, the next series, the series follow up to Andor is and or. So you get a it'll just be like so Jedi and or pew pew or bricks and or
man.
communicators. So it's who knows what they're doing. I would just really like, if you're going to spend all this money, you have so many more comic book characters that you could bring to life in a televised series on the Marvel side, as opposed to trying to rehash the most tenuous. Guess what I don't want to see? Bull Gullis or Bull Gullet and frickin' Forrest Whitaker stumbling around in that unhoused person ensemble he was sporting in Rogue
Oh,
One, talking all crazy with that big
Beat a
slimy
dead horse.
telepathic
Horse beat a
snail
dead
shit. Don't need it. I don't want bull gullet. I don't need that. Just show me a story that is just an entertaining story, like She-Hulk. Even though
Well,
look,
She-Hulk
look,
has turned
I'm-
She-Hulk.
but
Look,
No, well,
Okay,
She-Hulk.
okay.
I will say
You're bugging.
She-Hulk, but She-Hulk has definitely the. You know, we all thought that the filler episode, the first that we officially called a filler episode, was
Classic.
enjoyable, right?
oh, show's filler.
No, bullshit. But these last 3 episodes have been kind of filler episode-y. That's a lot of filler, and
Now, okay.
there's
Now here's the
enjoyable
thing.
bits. I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's. I still watch the show. It's only 20 minutes or 20-ish minutes
Yeah.
plus 24 minutes of credits,
Exactly.
and so I still enjoy the show. I still enjoy Tatiana. I still enjoy her little
so
sidekick,
cute.
the lawyer chick. I still enjoy. I mean, bring Madison back. Whatever. I'm enjoying the show. I'm just saying that, like Liz, and I'm gonna let Liz speak on it. I was a little disappointed that the tease that they unnecessarily set up in the last episode had no payoff in this episode, and we had a wedding which really wasn't even about a wedding, but we got this side character, Mr. Immortal, and you know,
That was
the
out of nowhere.
He was
the
hilarious.
other characters in the show
Mr. Immortal
that get a
was funny
chance
as
to
shit.
shine,
Yes.
I think is great, and it's one of the best parts about this show. But it took a long time for us to get 30 seconds of the bigger, fatter needle at the end.
Yeah, Daredevil was
No,
supposed to
but
show up
here's
in
the
this
thing.
episode, but he didn't show up where we think.
Oh boy.
Get that
He
dude a
didn't.
rim
He's
shot.
gonna show up, but he's not where you think.
Look, things that
Oh,
shine
they
about
should
this
have. That should have been
episode,
the end credit.
in tying it to where I thought in our individual chats where we are looking at what may be happening in this show. I mean, beyond Mr. Immortal and to my when I was talking to Ryan about how the X-Men may be introduced within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And my point was that I believe that they are going to just start showing us mutants all over the place, just here and there, not really identified as mutants. Who is one? Mr. Immortal. Mr. Immortal is a mutant.
Yes.
He is a mutant. He didn't have to say the name, but he is a mutant. Not only that, something that really dropped that was huge in this episode. The website that they're looking at, the Intelligentsia, that is a group that was founded by who? Samuel Stearns, the leader. The leader, and Tom, you remember when the leader put together his group, he had Doom, he had MODOK, he had all these individuals who were highly intelligent villains who had a plot. What was the one thing that they were trying to do, Tom? They were trying to create a Hulk of their own. A Red Hulk. That is who the Intelligentsia is. So you have all these individuals or these little tidbits they're throwing in, going after Jen's blood. They go to this sinister lab where they've got a bigger, fatter needle to get what? The Hulk's blood. We already know that the leader's returning in Captain America New World Order. It has been teased that the Red Hulk will make an appearance in there. All this shit is going somewhere to me. I'm like, when you look at little tidbits like that, I'm like, that shit was fucking mind blowing. I'm like, yo, they threw the Intelligentsia in this. They came out of their disdain for what the Illuminati, who had Reed Richards and Professor X and Black Bolt and all these other individuals came together. They said, let's come up with a plan of our own to create the Red Hulk. When you introduce something like that in the series, I'm like, yo, that's a humongous fucking Easter egg for me. I'm like, this is dope. I see where this is going.
Well,
great.
I don't disagree with you. And I said that part of why I like this series is the number of Easter eggs and continuity. That is still there. But the episode itself on Thursday sucked. It was self-contained. It did not advance the seasonal story arc in any way. And I could have just give me the Easter eggs. They could have just printed them out and handed them to me, and I would have cared about them more.
I mean, maybe. I mean, they at least told you in the beginning, this is a self-contained episode.
Look,
has nothing to do with anything that you may be watching.
Okay.
Why?
I appreciate-
Just because we're gonna have some laughs.
Okay, I appreciate the Easter eggs and all the tie-ins here and there, but as a whole, for me, the show is mostly filler. I don't hate the show. There's some times that I chuckle, I do like She-Hulk. The CGI is, I guess, kind of getting a little bit better here and there.
Well, it's
But,
definitely a little bit less.
That
Yeah.
too.
Mhm.
The whole okay, I like her
Not really getting better, just less of it.
Right.
rest of it, yeah. But the whole wedding thing was just like, guys, let's just keep it moving. I mean, like the show's filler enough. I mean, like, and the fact that tease of Daredevil was a total.
You know, they should
How
have
can I blue this? How
surprised
can I
us
say
with,
this? They
with
blue balled
Daredevil.
us, okay? They blue balled us.
They should have just surprised us with
My balls are
Daredevil.
fine. I
You know
wasn't
what?
mad.
And
Also-
not have played in the promo, not have made us
Yes.
like we're so excited for Daredevil, and then when are we gonna get him for like 2.2 seconds?
They never
No,
should
I
have
think
teased
it's
him.
going to be
No.
more.
They never should have teased
Four.
him in
Okay,
a trailer.
No,
They
I
never
don't
should have
think so.
mentioned him at all. He just should have showed up and surprised us all.
Yeah, but
Now we're all
Ryan-
waiting for it.
It's still
I
a
don't know,
business.
I
They
mean-
still want to tease certain stuff to get us to tune in episode after episode after
Right.
episode to keep the viewership numbers up. I understand why. That's the whole point of teasing.
Yeah, but
You
you're
know, so
pissing
you
people
keep
off
on
by not
watching.
but you're pissing people off by not giving them what they want.
I agree. And there's a way they could have better teased it or not teased it up so high because that was the chief tease of the whole series. Daredevil's going to be in it. And we know that he's probably not going to be in it until the last episode. And he's going to be in the street somewhere. And Daredevil's going to do one or two things and move on.
You know what would have made this episode a lot more enjoyable?
There we go.
No. Seriously.
go.
Absolutely seriously.
Uh-huh.
If Madison had been one of the bridesmaids.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would have been amazing.
Yes.
And then I didn't care about this was my friend from 4th grade. That struck me as bullshit. But if Madison was the bridesmaid and she's like, oh my God, you gotta come to this wedding with me, that would have been fucking hilarious. And I would have been
Wong's
happy
there.
to enjoy that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was supposed to bring Wonger, but then he had to go save the universe or something. And so you gotta come with me. You're my only other superhero friend. That would have been so fucking funny.
You should have brought Wong. That would have been gangster as fuck. That's my +1. He's Wong. He's supreme.
And they have him doing
What are you
magic.
saying? How can he not be invited? And I brought you a present, but it's not what you think.
I mean, look, we'll see. I mean, this has what? How many more? 2 more episodes?
Is it only 2?
There's 9 episodes.
I think it's 9 total, so 3.
Yeah, this was 6, right?
Yeah.
It would be 6 episodes or 5, but they're like 30 minutes long, 20 minutes long. So
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, look,
there
in the trailer for the next episode, I mean, you've got
9
Daredevil all the way through the damn
We'll see.
trailer. So we'll see. But again, we know that Daredevil has his own series coming up. It's
Correct.
not going to be
Yeah, 2
Daredevil
years,
all
18
the way
months,
through
whatever.
it. It is literally just a tease of Daredevil, just another inclusion. Watching this show thinking it's going to be all about Daredevil
I
is,
never
is
thought
foolish.
that.
Oh, I never
No,
thought
I'm just saying,
that.
I'm not talking
think
about
that
that. I'm
at
talking
all,
about
no.
everyone who's like, I thought the show was going to co-star Daredevil. I mean, I've seen the
Oh,
show.
no, that's
I
dumb.
think it's stupid.
They have nothing to do with each other. That would have been
Let's rule
ridiculous.
out the fucking idiots, Swallow.
Yeah.
Let's rule out the idiots. Okay,
Well,
come on. now.
there's a lot of them. There's a
No,
lot of
no,
idiots.
there's a
out
few
there.
of them, but they're very loud and they're stupid.
And they're not where you think.
Oh man, Liz, I'm curious about something, and I haven't been able to get to the theaters to see it. I don't know if anyone else has, but
Ooh.
how was The Woman King?
I have mixed feelings about it, and
Tell us
do
about it.
think-
Shit, let me know.
I think that everyone should watch it. I think that the boycotting stuff is stupid. But I also think I understand why people feel so strongly about it. I do. I feel that the marketing of Woman King was not was deceiving in the sense that first of all, they clearly wanted the Beehive to be involved and be excited because you put Beyonce's song all in the preview, and none of her songs are in the movie, and so and then you
I
do.
mean,
a
are there any
second-
modern songs in the movie?
It's not a modern song. She did it from her Lion King, so it is an appropriate song. And yes, they do make they do make African songs within the film, so it is a South African song that Beyonce does sing, so it would have made sense to keep it in somewhere, even at the credits. And the second thing I really get annoyed by is that um, I under I feel that the people that they should have been writing the reviews for major publications should have been black. And I say that because having white men write about how black women should be inspired seems like a bit off. And then the third is that you continue to keep hearing how there's a black woman writer of this, and in fact, it was a white woman writer who brought on this black woman writer, and then they kind of made her the face of it when she didn't do the bulk of the. She was an additive, and so you can see, for me, that presence within the film because they spent a ton of time. This long scroll about giving us the setting of the movie. And then by the end, there is no scroll. So there's no, it really had people walking away and especially looking at Twitter. And it also made me feel away that you should have explained, well, what happened to this tribe? Since you want to set us up, finish us off. Because it really tried to make it seem as if that slavery that was taking place was this co-relationship of equals between the the colonizers and African tribes, and that is not what happened. And so if you're going to kind of try to make it people feel this way, which I believe that's what they intentionally tried to do because they didn't explain that as spoiler, if they fought off the uh, uh, the Portuguese, and if they fought them off, killed them all, they some of them escaped. Then and that's how and everyone's excited. Everyone that's how this ends. Okay, cool. But then you don't tell us that they don't come back. They do come back and decimate the tribe. So I mean, you clearly are trying. This is for somebody. And I do hope that this introduces people to want to know more about what happened and why this happened and the significance of this, and not just write it off and dismiss it by saying, "Oh, they sent so many." They did. This was the largest tribe that sent more people
They
to
did.
the slave
The
trade than
Doheny did.
anybody else.
I have a
So I
question
get
though.
that.
I have a question. This is what's bugging me, and I'm really wondering about this. Do they explain in the movie that how the Africans were lied to, how slavery in Africa is
No.
totally different?
No.
So they didn't explain
Well-
it at all.
Okay, but wait, it was not universally true that all African communities that had slavery had different slavery than European chattel slavery. The Dahomey had chattel slavery. Let's be clear. It wasn't just, oh no, we embrace you. You are part of our no bullshit. They were
didn't mean
there.
that,
But I'm just saying there were tribes who fully knew what the fuck they were getting into. I will just say this. To me, movies can attempt to tell an entire decades long story, or sometimes movies will focus on a very particular moment in time. Like, let's say 300, right? 300 dealt with the Battle of Thermopylae. That was not the only battle that was covered, but they wanted to tell that story. And this is not a documentary. And so I could not see it in the first weekend because I had COVID. I'm negative now, so I'm going to go see it in the theater to support it.
All
But
praise due.
what I will say is that when I saw the first trailer for Black Panther, I knew how that trailer made me feel. Those were completely pretend African people, basically with superpowers and technology that made them, at the top of the world. But I know how it made me feel. When I watched the Woman King trailer, I know how that made me feel. And the fact that this tribe, these, Amazons were the inspiration for the Dora Milaje and all that other sort of stuff. I could get into all of that, and I understand the complicated, twisty history of Dahomey and everything else. But what I will say is, as a person who enjoys cinema and can see a story for what the story is and what that particular slice of time was supposed to tell me and what it's supposed to inform me, I can pretend that there is a multiverse in which these women, because none of the lead female characters are actually based on anybody real. The only one who is based on is John Boyega's character as the king, and so I can believe that there is a Dahomey in the multiverse where they were righteous, and I'm gonna watch this movie and see
Yes, I
Viola
would agree
Davis
with
use
you.
a trampoline to jump in the middle of the desert and chop
No,
people's
no.
heads off and shit. And I'm gonna be like, do that shit, Viola, and I'm gonna be completely happy with it because if you can, if listen, Schindler's List. Schindler's List was highly fictionalized, and people love the fuck out of that movie.
Okay.
They're in A League of Their Own. All of these movies that are designed to tell a story, they're designed to tell a story from a particular frame.
Yeah.
And for me, the frame of this story is that there were a people that existed who were able to be competitive and have this relationship as this fighting force. The fact that they were overcome eventually by superior weaponry and that they never really mastered the guns that they got from the Portuguese and all that other shit, that's not the story.
No.
Ju-
Wait a
ju-
second. Wait a second.
It's just not the story.
I'm not asking for all that. I'm saying that if you're going to spend so much time on a scroll in the beginning to set up what the empires and all the tension that's going on, so that you can kind of get into the scene, then you should have spent 2 seconds on a scroll on the out, so that you can kind of get the concept and not leave people walking away thinking that slavery was this co-relationship between Europeans and Africans when it wasn't.
My issue is representation matters. If you're gonna tell a story like that, let's be a little bit more truthful. That's all I'm saying.
I
mean,
agree with Tom on this one. I mean, it's
I
a
don't know,
movie.
yeah.
It's not a documentary.
Yeah.
There are
Yeah, but-
too many examples.
Yeah,
Selma
you're right.
was
No,
not.
you're right. But
Selma was not.
idiots out there going,
historically
see,
correct.
see, that's how it is. Like, there's
But you
idiots out
could
there
have,
that fucking think that.
But hold
Mo,
on.
but Mo, they spent even in Selma, they spent a couple of minutes to give little scrollers at the end so that you can get a context of what happened. You know, they didn't give a whole. This is not a narrative of a book. This they did give a little bit of context. If you put context in the beginning, you can put context at the end.
Okay, now I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying the expectation, going to Tom's point, when I sit down in the chair, I'm not looking for a history lesson and I'm not looking for historical accuracy. When I saw Braveheart or
There it is.
everything, I am watching a movie, a fictionalized account, almost borderline fantasy of some version of a historical event which did exist on some level, told through the eyes of a cinematographer, a filmmaker, and a director.
No, remember how mad you were at the movie Django Unchained?
No, I refuse to watch that shit.
Well,
It was.
and
a
why?
bad-
And why,
I
Mo?
didn't like it at all.
Because for me, watching movies about slavery don't entice me at all, especially when it comes to Quentin Tarantino. Now, this director, Gina Prince Bythewood, has been a guest on our program, and I want to support her, and I want to support diverse Black stories by Black filmmakers, and I make no bones about that or
Right.
apologies for it. And because of movies like Black Panther and other movies, we are now able to not only put our eggs in one basket, we can tell more stories about different periods in history.
And I feel like this, and this is, I think that there are moments. One of the reasons why I think Black Panther resonated a lot more with me than Woman King, even though it's fictional, is that to me, I felt that Ryan was directing from a viewpoint that was representing of the clash and all the complications that he kind of threw into that. I didn't feel that with Woman King. There was no feeling of that of a level of connectivity. It also could be the context. It could be, there. I walked away like, who was this for? Who's the audience? Because
Hey, Liz, can I ask you a question?
Hmm.
Is it okay that a movie can be bad, but still necessary for the
Absolutely.
more complete tapestry of the stories we want to tell?
Absolutely. I just feel I think that I feel strongly about who tells the story. And I also really get upset when you have someone who is being pushed out there as the writer, and you're not putting the complete story of there's two writers. And so why don't you put both of their names out here? You know, you won't put the other person's name out here so that, because there's going to be a disconnect with the audience if people know that it's a white woman who also wrote this, who was the main person who wrote it.
Okay,
This is purposeful.
I don't see a second credited writer on this movie. I just see Dana Stevens as the credited writer. I see directed by Gina Prince Bythewood, and also Viola Davis is a producer, and Maria Bello, who came up with the original story that prompted the creation of the screenplay, is a producer. And so, yes, of course, you're going to push Viola.
Did you say Dana Stevens?
Dana Stevens, yes.
Yeah, that's a white woman.
I understand, but I don't see a second black. But I don't see a second black woman. That's my point.
The person,
there is a
Gina Prince is the second person,
but she's a director. She doesn't have a screenwriting. Okay, I'm just saying she doesn't have a screenwriting credit. She may have an additional screenwriting credit, but the people they're pushing forward in the ads are Gina, obviously, because she's the director and she's a black woman. Viola, because she's the star and she's the lead name producer, even though Maria Bello was the person who developed the story.
Mm-hmm.
Say what?
She does have a screenwriting credit on this.
No,
okay,
but Liz, in pushing the film out, I think the point, and that what Tom is pointing out, is that the vision and what they want people to walk in is to see Gina Prince Bythewood's directorial vision of this story. It's not that no one has ever said that she came up with the story, that she wrote the story, or anything. They're saying this is another film by the person who gave us Tequila and the Bee, and whatever other film she's worked on. They want you to go and see this. Love and Basketball. Boom. She's back with a brand new movie. And this is her movie. She directed. She took the story and said, I can bring this to the big screen. Viola, are you down with me? Yes. Let's get Lashana Wright. Let's get this other sister who was in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Let's get all these folks out here. And
Lynch.
To that point, let's tell this story. I was just curious because I've seen so many ups, downs, so many people who are looking at this as this was supposed to be a documentary and they were disappointed because it was a movie. And I'm like, I thought it was a movie. I thought it was just a movie telling one story about this one warrior who they proclaim the woman king, and it's not supposed to tell the whole story, because you would need a series, you would need this to be an entire thing, and it's not. It was just supposed to be a movie. I was just curious what what your thoughts on it. So I've got that. I mean, that's all.
I do think people should watch it. It's just it's not inspirational. And Rocky made an interesting point. They also probably shouldn't have gone around saying based on true events.
Well, I mean, look, based on true events, in the sense that
that's factually
the tribe does exist, and that there was a fighting force, a tribe of Amazonian women, as they were known, who did lead and fight off, and there were the warriors who went and fought off other tribes, captured them. They were one of the wealthiest tribes in Africa. They were doing it. So, but you can't tell all of that. You're not. If this was a story about a tribe who was, enslaving other Africans and selling them on the East Coast, then that would have been a different movie. You may not have called it The Woman King. You could have called it, Black on Black Crime, or whatever the hell you want to call it. But that's not what this was. This was not that movie.
When you say it's based on true events, people think it's actually like historically accurate when it's not.
That's the
that there's a thing called Google. Yeah. And there's a whole lot of people who believe Donald Trump won the last election. That don't mean shit. Just because people believe something doesn't mean it's the responsibility of everybody. And what I will say, again, is that it was the #1 movie. It beat expectations. It had a $50 million budget. And so a almost $20 million open domestically is not bad. We'll see what happens this week. I don't know what's opening wide, but I don't know that, it has great word of mouth. Audiences are loving it, which is good. Mm-hmm. And I really honestly do not need every piece of entertainment that I see to be historically accurate. You know who won an Oscar for playing a completely bullshit fantasy made up real person? Rami Malek for Freddie Mercury. So much of that movie was complete horseshit, but they put it together in a way that you got to see Rami Malek with really bad prosthetic teeth singing and catching AIDS and dying. And it doesn't matter that they got it all wrong because they told this story and it was based on true events. Although a lot of the events were completely invented.
I still think that you have
So
some issues are a little bit more sensitive than others. And so
Thank
I just
you.
think that you have to be mindful of who's going to be the recipient and who's the vision. Me personally, like I
Totally
said,
agree.
the audience, it wasn't for me. It didn't feel good for me. But I think that it's people should support it, should watch it. And I can tell that this person, if I feel that if this was written by someone who looked like me, that it would probably have a different vision and there would have been a different sense of
See,
care.
no, that
I
I
don't
have
know.
to disagree with
I don't
that
know.
because as the director, it is the director's vision. It's not
And the
necessarily the
words, the writer,
director's words,
the writer
but
has
it's
nothing to do with it.
less
I,
than
I,
the
I will
director.
I will tell you right now that a director and a producer have much more to do with what the final presentation
Yes.
is than the writer, because basically what they say is that the producer, especially if you're a producer who's actually got control, it really depends on what your contract is, but if the producer says I don't think this is working, that's why you have reshoots. And sometimes they don't use the original writer. They bring in somebody who will do the job that they want them to fucking do. So at a certain point, the producer says, this is the way it needs to go. And the director says, this is the way it needs to go. Whoever has final cut, whoever has final approval, they're the people who shape it. And if they say, I don't like this line, I don't like this thing in the script, it goes from original story to script to shooting script. And in the shooting script version, that's where a lot of shit can change. And so I don't know if that's where Bythewood's contributions, because she doesn't have a full writer's credit. She has contributions by, and in IMDb, she doesn't even have that. It's the main chick, Dana Stevens, who has a written by and a story by, and Maria Bello, the white actor, also has a story by credit. So you don't even see Gina's name in story or written by in IMDb. I see in on the wiki page that she has a contribution of some sort, but that does not mean writer credit. It really does not, any more than Beyonce claiming she changed an ooh to a whoa means she actually wrote any of her damn songs. So all I'm saying is that I will see it. I'm not going to champion the movie because I haven't seen the movie, but I will say my expectations of, I have a good friend who is a historian, and he was like, "This is bullshit. That the homie were complicit and da 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 da." And I understood that to be true,
Yeah.
but I don't need every movie to be a history lesson. That's what fucking the slow mo zoom pan guy is for. Ken Burns, let him do that shit. And guess what? People are not going to watch it. And I am a person who has genetic heritage from the Western African slave trade, so I get it. But I don't feel bad that they are trying to show that there's some black African people who did some shit to fight off other people. I don't know if my ancestors were one of the ones that they put on the ship. Still, I would watch Viola Davis with her bad accent work chopping a motherfucker in half. I would do that shit. And plus Lashana Lynch too.
I think my thing or what I was maybe more curious about, and Mo knows, my feeling on films where the basis of the film is Negro, you can't do that. I don't watch Negro, you can't do that films. I do not watch a film where they say Negro, you can't debate. And then you go and debate, and they say, "Oh, Negro, I guess you can debate." They say, "Negro, you can't play basketball," and then you go and play basketball, and you win the championship. And they say, "Oh, I guess you Negroes can play basketball." Negro, you can't do this. You can't fly, and then you fly, and then no, I don't watch those movies. I liked Selma because it was not that movie. They said, we're going to tell one slice of a story about a man who everyone after watching was like, he was a cheater, he was this, he was that. Everyone had everything to say about Martin Luther Jr., the King, after the film came out, right?
The
They had
King.
everything- they said everything they want to about it, but that was just a film about how it came together, the work they put in to bring this one moment together. We didn't need to see him get assassinated again. I was hoping that this was a film that says, hey, there was a badass tribe in Africa. You all remember way back when you were kids and you saw Shaka Zulu. Well, this is some new Shaka Zulu for your ass. And we're just going to show you them fighting off and killing folks and just running shit. And so I was just, is it a Negro you can't do the movie? Or is it a movie that, for all the fantasy they may have, should make people inspired to say, guess what? We weren't all Negroes who couldn't do that. They did it, and they didn't ask nobody. They didn't get no help from. There was no teacher in there saying, you Negroes can graduate high school and coming in to save the day.
You mean Michelle Pfeiffer wasn't there?
Man.
Okay.
Man.
I don't know. I probably was on
Dangerous Amazons.
I don't know.
Dangerous Minds, yeah.
I probably was one of those. My ancestors was one of those people that was sold within that 200 span, so I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Well, Catherine Bailey Cunningham, a person I happen to know, says Viola and her fellow actors are promoting the mess out of this film, and they are proud of it. And that's another very good point, quite frankly, because there are movies, and if you remember, Viola Davis got an Oscar nomination for The Help. And
he did.
That burnt her ass. And Octavia Spencer got the damn Oscar for The Help. Now, at least Octavia Spencer was putting feces in pies, and so that was a ha-ha moment that helped. It was a very different take. Viola's character versus Octavia's characters were very, very different characters, and so she got the Cuba Gooding Oscar basically for have a second slice.
Oscar.
That's what she got it for. No, he got the Oscar for Show Me the Money. She got the Oscar for Second Piece of Pie. Got it. That's perfectly fine. But these women, Lashana Lynch, you can't tell me Lashana Lynch ain't proud as hell to be promoting this movie. You can't tell me the old girl from Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness ain't proud as hell that she's a part of this movie. And Viola is damn sure proud because between Doubt, where she got an Oscar nomination for basically playing a downtrodden, lack of options mother in the 60s with a son who was probably being molested, to the chick in The Help, you is good, you is smart, you is kind, to this woman who's jumping through things and chopping motherfuckers in the face. I'm good. I am completely good.
Tom, you make a great point. All the criticism that we used to levy at Tyler Perry for doing these bullshit movies, and what would people say? Well, Tyler Perry is putting people to work in lead roles in capacities that white Hollywood was not giving them opportunities. Mm-hmm. And here you have a black director, a black lead, and at least one of the black writers and producers, executive producers. This is what we should be working for. Now, the movie may be trash, and I say that respectfully. I haven't seen it, but I am going to see it because we've been bitching for 20, 30 years where we can have these types of stories being told and not have to decide between this or bullshit.
I get it. I guess I'm just about this topic.
Spike doesn't exist. There are other movies that have been out.
Wait, no, but when was the last time Spike had a movie? Miracle from St. Anna?
No.
What was the last one?
The last movie that we all did a whole thing on. We did a whole thing on
Five Bloods.
Yeah, but my point is, one director, one movie. We can have a multiplicity of stories, and Spike has his own complicated relationship with female characters.
Look,
they all have
all I'm going to say is I'm very sensitive, obviously, about this topic, about slavery. And if I want something that's not totally historically accurate, just give me Posse. You know what I'm saying? Give me that movie. All right.
Well, but that's Django too, and he made Django. Tarantino made Django in a phase of his career where he was basically going into revisionist history. It was the first one, Inglourious Bastards, and then it was Django Unchained, I guess you could include Hateful Eight, although that didn't have any real historical scope, and I loved Hateful Eight actually. So you had Inglorious Bastards, then you had Django, and then you had Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. All of these things where Quentin just basically said, I'm going to flip this story on its head and you're going to get a feel-good moment. Yes, all of the big Nazis die and the Jews did it. Yes, the big slaver dies and a black dude does it. And yes, Manson's people all get killed and Brad Pitt does it. and now you get this fantasy way of reliving the past. And each of these movies Oscar nominated because they took the vision of a historical kernel and made an entirely different piece of entertainment around it. And so I'm not going to get upset about the historical inaccuracies of enslaved Africans and how they were treated, because the Dahomey weren't the only tribe by far. There were some other tribes that were perhaps tricked. Dahomey was definitely much more complicit, but Dahomey also had this other story. And I'm here for the other story precisely for some of the same reasons that Twala and Mo are against seeing slavery stories, because I don't need to see any more enslaved stories. I would just like to see some people who kicked ass that are actually based on some people. If it was one battle, I don't give a fuck. Glory was one battle, and that shit was historically inaccurate as well. All sorts of stuff. Denzel got the Oscar for it. And so all I'm saying is that you tell me a story that moves me, that isn't a complete lie, and I'm good. Just like Ime Udoka told Nia he was going to be faithful. Okay. All I'm saying is you can tell a fantasy.
That is enough.
I get your point, Tom. I agree. Tom, I see what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. I understand your point of view. It's just I kind of disagree with this type of topic when you're not being more truthful. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, Ryan.
That's just me.
12 Years a Slave was historically accurate.
Woo!
And I will never watch that shit.
Never.
Well, I don't even watch slavery movies. I don't pay money to be pissed off. I can do that shit at home.
Here's the thing: as much as we may, some of you, because I'm actually one of those few, I think on the panel that actually believes that we need to tell a slave story all the time. Because if I get a Holocaust movie every single 3 or 4 months, I get another Holocaust movie to remind me of what happened, then I should be getting the same situation about everything else that has happened within the slave. I should be getting one about the slave trade. I should be getting one about the annihilation of Native Americans. Because if you're going to put me on the reminder trope of the Holocaust, I need to be reminded of everything else.
Well, let me just say this. I saw the highly fictionalized version of the Nat Turner story, Birth of a Nation, and that didn't do it for me. I did not, honestly. I just and I think that
Bell.
Huh?
What about Bell?
You know what? I actually liked Belle, but I'm a big Gugu Mbatha Raw fan, so I'm a big fan of hers. I think there is. Exactly. I don't need to see that anymore.
If it's not about a point in time where we did that shit, if it's not about a point in time where we did it and we weren't helped, to me, the story about the sisters who helped Nassau, the fucking COVID brain has got
hidden figures.
You know, where you had a story that
and that was fictionalized.
Oh, super fit! That whole bathroom shit that was the best goddamn scene in the fucking movie. Never happened.
Like a story where you can touch on the struggle, but you show us at our finest. Us being African Americans, you show us at our finest. If you show black folks, a warrior tribe of women fucking people up, and you just base it on the name Dahomey, fine, I'm good with that, because there are so many stories that try to paint us into this corner where we couldn't never do shit in life. There should
be a plethora.
And I'm just saying, like I like the turn. If Gina Prince Bythewood has brought us yet another film that makes the turn, that says, you know what, we did do some shit and we were bad as hell.
Give me a Toussaint Louverture film. Give me Toussaint Louverture.
Look, my only criticism is go to Haiti. Is just the whole point of if you're going to give us a scroll in the beginning, you need to give us a scroll at the end to kind of frame this in a
I
way.
mean, look,
That's my
I
that's
can
my
I can get that.
major
No,
beef
I can
with
dig
the
that.
whole
That's
thing. You don't have to tell me everything's
mhm.
truthful or not. I'm not expecting a documentary. I'd watch it if it was a documentary, but I'm a
Mm.
nerd. But at the same token, I still wanted, if you're gonna give me this energy, take the scroll out. You don't need to give us the scroll if you don't want us to be, if you don't want to frame it this way.
Yeah.
You
Okay,
either do the
so
scroll in the
Well,
beginning or the scroll at the end to kind of frame
hopefully
this
there
in
will
a
be
better way.
some individuals who take it upon themselves to find out what happened. I thank you very much. On
And
that,
stay in the lobby to get your nachos and just walk in once the music starts so that you
yeah,
miss the scroll.
just you can come in, with the warrior chant. Beyond all of that, Liz, what are you watching that's on Apple TV?
There's nothing really on Apple TV. I mean,
Nothing.
nothing. There's nothing. There's no new TV show that's coming out. It's only
Hush your mouth.
documentaries. No, I mean the documentary. Hillary Clinton has a documentary with her daughter, which is actually pretty entertaining,
So
gutsy.
you're watching that?
Well, I mean, but I'm saying like there's nothing entertaining. I think it's a nice way to try to bring her, to make her more palatable for people who
Okay.
don't see her personality. And then, of course, they came out with a Sydney Poitier,
Oh
whatever,
yeah, I
Yes.
saw
that
the premiere
came
for
out
that.
this week,
Okay.
today.
Okay.
But other than that, I mean, there's nothing. There's no new. Finally, C is ending.
All
So
right. Okay. I will not be singing that. But bum. See, I had to. Okay, my bad. All right, I'm sorry.
Damn,
McBain.
damn.
McBain, what are you watching?
I was able to acquire a free week of Apple TV because I wanted
Oh
to see
shit!
Aaron Judge possibly hit his 61st home run tonight. He didn't. Fuck. So that was all for nothing. But so since I only have a week of this, I'm finally gonna watch Defending Jacob, starring Chris Evans. I want to watch this. I saw the trailer and I was like, dude, this looks really
it's
really
so
good.
good.
And it's about a father who's trying to like save his son because his son is accused of murder. That's all I know. And
Okay.
I saw the trailer. I liked it. I like Chris Evans. I didn't need to see his penis, but whatever. And that phone thing, whatever. But
Why?
yeah.
Way too much.
Why?
Way
I
too
mean,
I mean,
Whoa.
was it though?
Okay. Whoa.
I mean,
Okay. All right. Damn it. Okay. Anthony, good sir, what are you watching?
Jesus.
I know. Tyson.
Are you? Wait, Tyson or Mike?
Mike.
Mike, you're watching Mike.
I'm
Mike
watching
on Hulu.
I thought we were
I'm watching
protesting.
Mike on Hulu. So
Who?
I'm watching that.
We're not protesting it.
No.
Okay.
We just had on Russell Hornsby on.
Yeah,
Be damn that.
Bo Kelly show
I
has
didn't say
mine.
nothing about protesting. All right.
Yeah, I'm
How you
watching
liking
Mike.
it, man?
I'm enjoying it. I mean, the actor who they got to play Tyson, he sounds very much like him. Not so much the look.
Have you seen?
No.
Do you remember the most recent Predator before Prey? The brother
Yes,
in
I
it,
just watched
Trevante
it.
Rhodes.
Yes.
That's who's
yes.
playing Tyson.
Wait, what?
Okay.
Trevante Rhodes is playing Mike.
You
Tyson.
lying? In
He's
Mike?
great. He's great.
Wait, that's Trevante Rhodes?
Yes.
Shut the fuck up. I can't believe that shit.
He plays him so well because it's the whole setup of Mike is he's doing his stand-up routine and he's telling his story that way, and it is just like I'm watching, I'm like, this is great.
Wow.
And I think the last episode I watched was
damn,
just
Tom.
the rape trial
What
had
that
just
mouth
ended.
do?
So I'm getting into the next few episodes.
Yep.
Wow.
But
Oh
it's
my
great.
gosh.
I mean,
I don't know what they did to him by the time he got to the post-fighting tattoo phase on the face, but that's still Trevante Rhodes. But that motherfucker looks like hell by the time they got to the end. Because oh wow, maybe I guess I do need to watch it now. I was
Anthony, how many episodes is it?
I think right now I'm only 6 deep. I think it's.
I think there's
10
6
maybe?
because I'm on 4.
No, what?
Okay,
'cause
so you're beating it.
I just watched the trial. So they just wrapped up the trial, found guilty. Now he's heading to jail. So that's where I'm at. So I think that's like.
It can't be a
that's
spoiler
fine.
because we all know.
Yeah.
I mean-
but his
we
marriage
know
to
this
what's her face. If it was that,
Robin Givens. Yeah.
yeah, if it was that bad,
No,
Yeah,
it is
she
because all of
sued.
it's taken from published accounts. I'm watching it. It's one of those things where, they dramatize certain events, but the events that they dramatize actually happen.
I want to go back.
The fight between Mike Tyson and Don King, where he knocked his ass out.
But does it get into Mike's contribution to the Dahomey slave trade, or
no? It doesn't. But it does get into the contribution to Ime Udoka and his fucking around.
Oh shit! Okay,
but I will.
I do want to
wait.
see the interview with him and Barbara Walters and
8
and
episodes. It's 8
I wanna
episodes.
watch that interview.
Okay.
So
the real one is still out there. You can compare it. So
yeah, that's what I want to see. I want to see how.
But Robin Givens was sued because she tried to stop her being
portrayed like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
because it's not a positive light. It's not positive.
No, it's not. For her, no, it's not.
Wow. All right. I'm looking forward to really checking out. I mean, the conversation with Russell Hornsby was so good. I was like, I really, really want to see. I just haven't had a lot of time to get behind the box. What are you watching, Mo?
Mike, just like Anthony is, and I'm also watching the final season of The Good Fight.
That was so good.
3 episodes in.
Yes.
Okay. Do you like the new character that they've added?
Yes. Andre Brower, Rashad.
Oh yeah. I mean, Andre Brower can do no wrong.
Yes.
That man is a treasure. Treasure.
He's a great villain. He's an asshole.
He's always
in Homicide? Oh my God.
Ooh, yeah, no, he's always does
even
really,
Fantastic
really
Four, he was an asshole.
Yeah.
Fantastic. He was in Fantastic Four?
Yes, he was.
What, the Josh Trank one?
No, Silver Surfer, Rise of Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
Oh,
he,
okay.
He was the
general.
The general.
Yeah, okay.
What you watching, Tom?
So, 3 things, technically 4. It's all Netflix. So the first thing that I stumbled on is RRR, which is basically it is not.
Is that the Bollywood action film?
Well, it's not Bollywood. It's Tollywood.
Oh.
Because but it's no. It's more Tamil, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so you talk about historically inaccurate. These motherfuckers have no idea what physics are. They just be doing just like crazy shit. They have a disclaimer at the beginning of the film, to Liz's point. There is a reel at the beginning of the film that instead of, no animals were harmed in the production of this film, it literally says no tigers, leopards, elephants, giraffes, bears. I mean, it just goes in all of them are computer generated. And when I tell you, if you've ever watched a Bollywood film, I mean, there's lots of genres, but their action film genres are very particular in how crazy and over the top they are. But it's really kind of cool, and so I'm enjoying it. It was described as the best movie you've never watched. It is 3 hours long.
Oh, wow.
So it is a commitment, but they spent a ton of money. It looks really rich and expensive aside from the CGI. The CGI is fucking crazy. But if you ever thought you had no reason to see a grown man wrestle a tiger without a shirt, you're wrong.
3 hours.
That's all I will say.
3
This
hours?
motherfucker, 3 hours plus, and it's not 2 hours of credits. I'm enjoying the shit out of this movie. So the next thing I'm watching is a Netflix series called The Imperfects. And so that's really interesting. It has the same premise as a couple of shows that we've seen in the past, a couple of British shows of people who have powers that they don't want. There's a kind of a nefarious doctor who's given them their powers, and they had drugs to suppress them, but all of a sudden they can't get the drugs, and blah, blah, blah. And so one girl has the power where her pheromones are super active, and so people basically, whereas it might be nice to be able to influence people, but her pheromones actually drive them to like frenzy, like that they would literally sexually assault her if they could, men and women. So she obviously has a problem with that. One is a werewolf, one is a chick who has super hearing, and so it's a very interesting show, not in the way that the Nevers is, because the Nevers is based in the past, but it's texturally kind of similar. And then I just started watching Dahmer. Evan Peters is so good at playing people with a blank affect. It's fucking
does.
creepy. And then Nishi Nash is his neighbor, and it's super graphic. Like,
How's the food in that movie?
well, catering was a bitch.
Good night. Good night, Ryan.
So,
I
and then
think that the first scene when he had the knife.
yeah, the knife, yeah.
Look, I had to turn it off. It is a real
Melatonin.
horror.
No, it is. Well, and I is it from the same people that did American Horror Story? Because that
Yes.
okay, that's what I figured. Because Evan Peters is in it, so I just knew it had to be them. And then the last thing I'm watching, it does also involve food, but it is one of my favorite shows. It's the Great British Bake Off. I mean they call it the Great
Bake
British
Off.
Baking Show over here, but it's Bake Off, and I fucking love this show. And there are 2 black contestants this year, and so I always root for the black people on the show. And I'm the first episode. Absolutely, the right person went home. But Sister Girl, actually, her showstopper was a not a showstopper, but she got her flavors right, which is what probably saved her ass. So I can't wait to watch the next episode. The next episode just dropped, and so I'm basically all Netflix. Netflix is my Apple TV right now because
Damn.
it's all about the Netflix.
No doubt. Good shit. Riveting conversation. Thank you for taking it up a notch, Liz.
Tawala, are you?
No,
gonna
it's
stick to
Anthony.
watching?
Anthony.
Anthony.
Why didn't say what he's watching?
Well, it's also Anthony's
No,
turn
no.
too.
Anthony told
I
us
said
he's
Mike.
watching Mike.
Oh, that's right. You're watching Mike.
I'm
That's right. So it's
bad,
just
my
on
bad.
you, Tawala.
Like-
It's down to you.
Waller
No,
knows how
man,
to
look,
drive
man,
this car.
I hardly ever watch hardly about anything. I watched the 2 things we talked about tonight, She-Hulk, and I watched Andor. The rest of this week I've been watching the back of my eyelids because my days are crazy like that. So hopefully I will be able to get back into the Rings of Power. I only watched those first 2 episodes. I'm sure the probably damn show's almost over. I wanted to go and see the Woman King. It's a lot of shit I want to see.
Yeah.
I did. I finally I was able to binge the shit out of Cobra Kai. Loved every second of it. I clapped, I cheered, I fucking cried. The shit was mind blowing for me. I'm in love with everything having to do with Cobra Kai. So hopefully next week, Liz will get Daredevil. Ryan will get something he likes about Andor.
Probably
Mo
not.
will not hate Andor.
Being honest.
Anthony will love something. I don't know. We'll see.
Well,
Nerd TV
and
is
we
not
also need
not
to-
fulfilling a lot of folks right now.
But we should also give a shout out, since we're doing all this empowerment, to Sanaa Lathan, who is doing her directorial debut, and her movie just dropped, On the Come Up, written by Angie
On the Come Up,
Thomas.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And also Quinta
know
Brunson.
We're working on getting her on.
Yes,
Sanaa
we
on.
are.
Who
Yeah.
Angie or
Oh, and one quick announcement:
love it. Love her book.
Bill Shatner coming to Nerdorama, an exclusive. We'll have
Oh.
details on that.
I have a friend who worked with Bill Shatner. He wrote the series, created the series Black Scorpion, and Bill Shatner did some cameo stuff as well as Frank Gorshin actually on that show. And then he also was developing a show with Bill, so they've been friends forever. So this is going to be a thrill for me. I just love the Shatner. So I will be looking for that one.
Treat.
Delivery.
That is going to be an absolute treat.
It is a
On
treat.
the Come Up is in the movie theaters.
And it's
hard to find.
Is it
And it's
streaming
also on
too?
Paramount Plus.
It's
Yeah,
streaming.
Paramount Plus.
Paramount
Yeah.
Plus, yeah.
I have Paramount Plus.
I
Yep.
went to see it today by myself. Nobody
Uh-oh.
else is there.
Okay.
Nobody
Yeah,
in the theater.
I'm gonna see Woman King in the theater before I see anything else in the theater, and so I may try to scooch out and see that in the morning before I get the rest of my day started.
Well, you can always pop it on your TV. On that note, Anthony, good sir, take us out, brother. Anthony has checked all
Good
the way
news,
the
everybody.
fuck
Is
Let's-
that
let-
Frozen?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were frozen. I thought you were doing the fake Frozen challenge.
It was hilarious.
It was hilarious. He was like,
My internet is really bad
Yes.
tonight.
We know.
All right, Anthony. On that note, take us out, good sir.
Nope. Just we're good. We're good. Go to the next one.
McBain.
Nia Long, you have my phone number. Call me.
You son of a bitch! Don't
Hey
you
man, shoot your
dare.
shot, man. You miss 100% of the shots you don't
dare.
shoot.
Her
You are
DMs
out
are
of line.
on
You are
fire
out of
right now.
line. Oh my God, no,
Shoot the
Mo,
J. Shoot it.
Mo.
Eagle Fang Karate.
Dr. Liz.
On the come up. It's not that good of a movie though, but it's still worth on the come up.
God damn.
How to kill
I like
it.
the
Oh
song.
my God.
I like the song. Song's pretty cool.
Son of a bitch.
Cunningham.
Where is my daredevil suit?
He's asking that too.
Not where you think.
It's not where you think.
Excelsior. Y'all are wildin'.